the ways in which we make culture, distribute culture, and use culture are changing pretty profoundly right now. And it's very difficult for institutions to move quickly enough to adapt both to the changing marketplace, but also the changing relationship that people are wanting to have with art. You know, the older generations of people who have been long time involved in the arts have a way of using culture. It's not a passive way, but it's more a private way. It's a, I receive the cultural experience, I can have something very profound happen, but then I want to go away and use it somehow. And it doesn't mean that the experience of being in the community and the live experience isn't something really meaningful too, but I don't necessarily want to share it with a lot of people. Whereas I think people who have now grown up not just with the technology, you know, the ability to use computers and access things, but who have in the last 10 years really developed this way of thinking culturally and in terms of what their community is, in a kind of shared sense ability. You know, it's the Pew report that says that young people value the community that they've made online is as important or more important than the people they know in the physical world, right? It's like, give a person in that demographic a problem to solve, it instantly goes out to their peeps. It goes out to the people that they depend on, this network that they've had, and they start getting, that wouldn't occur to somebody naturally in my age, for instance, because that's not, we didn't have the ability to do that. And so there's an expectation then that if I have a culturally meaningful experience, that part of the completion of that act of art, that process of art, is the ability to be able to pass a piece of it on or share a piece with the people who are important to me. That's a really, really important part of the artistic impulse here. And you don't necessarily find that in the earlier generations. And you don't necessarily find arts organizations thinking that that's part of their responsibility. Traditionally, we've been a broadcast model where my responsibility as an artist or as an institution is to do the best possible job of either curating or creating the art. I'm the keeper of the flame of the art. Your responsibility as the audience is to come participate in that and receive something from that. In the new paradigm, that's kind of flipped on its head, where yeah, it's my responsibility to produce something, to curate something, to whatever, but it's also my responsibility to provide an infrastructure or a way, a means by which you can complete that act of art, where you have the ability to network or to form community around it, where you have the ability to interact with the art in some way that makes it better, right? Because part of the artistic impulse is that it really doesn't find its full flower until the audience decides to do something with it.